Yes, I got it.
Hetzke.
Here.
Bastian.
Here.
Knauer.
Here.
McCord.
Here.
Valentine.
Here.
Sangster.
Here.
Weisar.
Here. All right, we have no minutes prepared yet.
No, we're still working on the minutes, so we'll get those to you before your public hearing. We do have two tabled items for the board this evening. The first was 2041 Penfield Road. Doug reached out and spoke with the applicant. He's deep in tax season, so said he hadn't had a chance to look at the PRC memo or his engineer, so he's submitted no additional materials. So I would post to the board to continue to table that application until we get the responses to the table and resolution from the last meeting.
All right, somebody move.
I'll move to continue table.
Bastian, second. Knauer.
Hetzke.
Aye.
Bastian.
Aye.
Knauer.
Aye.
McCord.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, our second tabled item is for 2775 Penfield Road. We've received a letter past meetings asking to wait for the weather to break. Things are starting to melt, so maybe we hear something from them shortly. But I propose the board continue to take no action on that application.
No action.
No action.
Okay, we will take no action. Miscellaneous.
We need to take a vote on this.
Do we need to
vote on no action or just
vote on no action?
No,
Do we?
just reflect in the minutes.
Okay.
Okay, miscellaneous item. We have received an application for Baytowne Plaza. This would be Building O. The board approved the overall Baytowne Walmart piece, which included these out parcel buildings with it. At that time, we did the final approval for site plan for the whole entire plaza, but one of the conditions was to come back before this board when and if they had tenants for those buildings to review the architecture and also to make sure that the site plan didn't change with that. So they've submitted for that. They do have a tenant for it. It's a joint venture between Highland Hospital and U of R for a blood lab and a pediatric center. In that, orient yourself. Excuse me, Brant Point Drive is at the top of the screen. Building O is at what is the end of the street of shops. So that's the area splitting through tops, splitting that out. We can see on either side, Building P and Building N are proposed future buildings. Again, those were already approved. So Building O is the piece right at the end of that drive. The green space is in the middle. Kept the parking the same. They've added in the dumpster enclosure was one of the details we wanted to see for that. The building is actually going to face, their main entrance will be to the north, facing Brant Point Drive. Building that out so it can be future subdivided or future separated. They're doing a 10-year lease with them that it can face to the south as well. So looking at the elevations, these elevations of the building, so that's actually the face that would face towards the street of shops. So you got those three vertical columns. It is a one-story building. They're making it appear to be a two-story building, one to screen the HVAC units on the top, two is to kind of give it the same scale as the existing tops and the same buildings that are out there, so it appears in a similar scale. You look at the end of the street, it looks like a nice building there. So this is actually the view you'll see from Brant Point Drive. So that'll be the entrance to the pediatric center. Again, when and if after the 10-year lease U of R and Highland Hospital decide to leave, they could flip it around, put three different entrances in and have it as another type of shop or repurpose it as something else with that. So we've already handled site plan, we've already handled the seeker part of it with the original approval. They're basically just before this board this evening just to get your thoughts on the architecturals, using similar materials to what was previously approved by the street of shops, similar canopies, color styles, was already in that approval, and also with the Baytowne building.
Do we know what the signage will be?
That would have to go to the zoning board of appeals, so they haven't submitted that yet, but they're working on that. We did have floor plans. They say this was I submitted all as one package.
It's a nice looking building.
How is the parking altered?
It was similar to the overall layout. The one things they did change and Paul had worked on was to line up these aisles here, which weren't previously lined up. So these line up through as they did. The access point is still a secondary access point off of Brant Point Drive, which we had previously through there. The rest of it lines up as as we had laid out the green space where Doug has the hand, was in the original design. They've just, I believe, adjusted the handicap parking space locations based on where the door entrance is, but they're, again, kind of in the middle, you can go either direction. And they added the dumpster location, which is shown as item H or V on the west end. The rest of it is laid out as it was in the overall configuration, so the site portion.
So
is
minor
going to change. Yeah, and that's just basically just a kind of a check seat to come back, but they're meeting that. A slight increase in the square footage of building O, but that's why we approved an overall 500,000 square foot. We'll continue to deduct that from the total amount. So once Super Walmart goes in, building O goes in, we'll keep deducting that out. So once they hit to building N or P, if they've reached the overall approved square footage from this board based on traffic and stormwater drainage, they need to adjust that, and that's what we approved an overall square footage rather than identified an exact number for each building. So if it fluctuated a little bit, I think originally it was like 9.6, it's 10.8, so it's gone up just a small
1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Okay, any comments, questions? Everybody good with this?
I'm good with that.
So we would just need an approval from this board for the architectural piece. They'll then have to go to the zoning board of appeals for the signage part of it.
In the past, I haven't been voting on parts of this project because it was a Walmart.
Yes.
And I'm at the point where I'm not really doing any work for Walmart anymore, so.
I think that's.
But this is
This was,
Walmart.
we kind of talked about it, so it was separate
Okay.
from Walmart already, so
As long as it's.
we'll put that on the record that.
But you're not doing work for
I'm
Walmart
not,
anymore?
yeah, I'm not doing work for Walmart anymore anyway, so.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make that point.
It's good to have
So you note that in the minutes.
have that noted.
Okay, so can we entertain a motion to,
I'll move to approve the architectural.
all right?
I'll second.
Hetzke,
Aye.
Ash,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
and McCord.
Aye.
Okay.
We have no more miscellaneous items. The only other thing we wanted to cover this evening was Silverwoods. Doug already has it up. This is your public hearing item for April 9th. This is the last section of Silverwoods, so you have 5 Mile Line on the east side, Hatch Road on the west side, Armatail Luster close to the Webster Town line. This is the last portion of that. So this is an existing connection point, and then the other side is an existing connection point. So you have it tied on both ends. They have preliminary overall approval. The number of lots is not changing. The layout of the lots is not changing.
Same builder, so.
Same builder.
Viola, right?
It's Viola. I believe he's going to look to get the whole section approved. So it's section 6, and then potentially phase it 6A and 6B, just kind of by building construction. He's got to do 10% of the lots, so there's 23 lots. We do 12 in one and 11 in the other, based on whichever side he's got sales for. So this is the only item we have for April. So it'll be your public hearing for that evening. The materials are in your drop tonight, so the flash drive you received this evening have your drop materials for that. We'll send them again to you next week, so you'll have them in that as well. I believe Doug issued the PRC memo today with comments. Most of them were, you gotta get a catch basin here, tweak the grading there, no showstoppers from PRC. We went through, but we'll host the public hearing next week, see what if any comments the neighbors have concerns. We have posted signs at the entrances on both ends, on 5 Mile Line and Hatch Road, to capture residents on either side of it. So this is just an FYI item. No vote necessary.
Good,
Okay.
thank you. Good night.
With that, that's
all we got?
We have on your agenda tonight.
No other new business, old business, guess we will adjourn. Thanks for coming.